Come on, BTC. Come on, BTC.
Okay, I think we are live. Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are doing another Simple Signal stream. Today we are going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, but I don't actually have any coins on the back burner to look at. So unlike last stream, we did look at all the other coins from last stream, which I couldn't cover because there was so many. I don't actually have any today. So if you are in the chat and you do have a coin you do want me to look at, put it in a couple of times to make sure I see it, and I will cover it today. So we're just going to be starting off with the main coins, you know, the usual Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then I'll probably end up going through some coins maybe I want to look at, and then we'll go through your coins. But with that being said, there are links in the description. Go check them out. There are things in the description, things, partnerships. Doesn't have to get into the details of it, but wherever you are, go to the description. There's a really important link there. Begins with T, ends in M. This is where you'll be able to talk to us. Where I'll post screenshots, this and the other. If you want to ask me a question, you can go there. You know, just figure it out. It'll be in the description. Go to that link and join us there. With that being said, I think that's it. I've got the mental list in my head. I've checked it all off. So I think we should be good to start off with looking at CoinMarketCap. Just seeing the percentages. I think we'll just go through, see some percentage changes, because I haven't looked at Bitcoin's, I haven't actually looked at the price change since last stream, but I did look at the big pump we had on Friday, I believe it was. We literally went all the way up and all the way down and like even pulled out, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, but we'll get into it. I did have a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. There's something really interesting I want to talk about with what I drew last time. So, you know, I'm pretty excited to talk about that. So we'll just get into it. So Bitcoin 72.2. Okay, 72.2. Now there were some people, I'm not going to name names, there were some people who said 74,500 by Friday. Now, I didn't say that, okay? Some people said that. You know, that is their opinion. That's okay. Okay, they can have that opinion. I didn't think that was going to happen, and it didn't happen because we came all the way back down, which is fine. But we are slowly, steadily. So we tested the upper end of where we're supposed to go and the lower end. Basically, we tested both areas, and now we're slowly getting up. You know, we found where we're supposed to go, and now we're just going towards there. So that's basically what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm not saying that as the last, you know, thing. Like, okay, Bitcoin's going to do this, because we still need to get into the chart. But that's kind of what's kind of happened. We went all the way back, went all the way up, all the way down, and now we're in the middle. But yeah, 72.2 for Bitcoin, pretty cool, pretty nice. We've successfully surpassed the all-time high, and now slowly, you know, trucking upwards, you know, higher and higher until we reach the halving. Obviously, at this point, we're kind of just, you know, we need to reach as high as we can before the halving, so that in 18 months after the halving, obviously, if you watch Mike's streams at any point, if you've watched at least one, he's probably talked about it every stream, I'm not gonna lie, and he's probably said, okay, you know, 18 months after the price, or 18 months after the halving, whatever the price of Bitcoin was, would be 4 times enough, about November 2025, I think it is. So, you know, we just need to reach the highest price we can for Bitcoin, you know, before the halving, to maximize as much profit as we can. But yes, regardless, Ethereum 4,000. I haven't looked at Ethereum. The only thing I've looked at is Bitcoin. So I don't really know a lot about what's happened with the other coins. So we will get into. Obviously, we'll get into it. But again, I do just say it's all streams. It's going to be a bit like Dora the Explorer, because I'm not going to know what happened, because I draw these charts and I'm in this trance of greatness, and I don't know what's going on. I just draw it and it happens, and then it comes to the next stream. And I look at the charts, I go, I don't even know what I did. So we're going to have to go through it together, because I actually can't remember what I did. But, you know, it's probably right. It's me. I mean, who are we talking about here? But Solana as well, $146, nearly 147. Pretty crazy. I don't know what the limit was. Like I said, I can't remember all my charts. I draw so many charts in a stream, I can't remember them all. So I can't remember exactly what I said for Solana. But I think it might have been, I'm not sure. We'll get into it. And then, obviously, my coin, which I look at to know what's going on with the market, is Thorchain. Okay, Thorchain is my Bitcoin. Okay, so people look at Bitcoin in the market to kind of see, you know, what sort of, you know, situation we're in with the market, if we're going up or going down, what's going on with, you know, the movement. Well, for me, it's Thorchain. This is a joke, by the way, but I've got a love-hate relationship with Thorchain, so I always look at it because I hated seeing it go up so much every single stream. You know, we used to go to the office, we used to see it every single time, and it'd always be in the one going up, and it didn't make sense to me. But we are fully up on Thorchain as well, so yeah, brilliant. So I think that's it for coin market cap. It's kind of just something quick to look at while we're there. So I've got this blue line here. Let me delete some of these lines because they are kind of in the way. I'll keep that one. I'll delete this 65.51, and then this is, I mean, this is a consistent line. I mean, I guess I'll keep it. I'll also delete this because that's as messy as hell. Got some stupid lines down here. Kind of just want to like tidy it up a bit. Oh, this is the main one. What's this one? 659. Yeah, I guess I'll keep this. It kind of played through. Okay, so it's kind of messy, but we're gonna go through it. What would actually probably help if I hid market cipher? We don't need to see that just yet. The main thing I want to look at quickly is this order block I drew. I must have drew this on stream. Well, I did draw this on stream. I don't know when I streamed. I'm not sure if it must have been Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday because I was drawing it down here. So it must have been Wednesday where I did the charts. Yeah, that makes sense. Wednesday. There we go. So it must have been about here. Yeah, it was. Okay, so I drew this already. So this was an order block, which I mentioned last stream. Now, something interesting happened with this, which was, we were staying, below the order block. We haven't gone above it. So the current situation when I drew it, it was an order block. It was a negative one. So we had this order block here, which we stayed below. We bounced from the midpoint at least once. We came towards it. Pretty close within the middle on Thursday here. So we were staying below this line pretty heavily. Obviously, we had previous lines below us anyway, which we were staying below. But with this, order block, as you might notice, I do point these out quite often, is this movement here, where we had a quick movement upwards, which actually broke us above the order block, and then we entered back into the order block, and then we stayed above it, which a little thing called a breaker block. Here we go. So once we had this, quick price movement upwards, liquidity sweep, whatever you want to call it, price movement upwards above the order block, above all the lines of the order block, and then we retracted back down into it to test it as support. Lo and behold, we used it as support. I've just moved it. Whoops. Obviously, we dipped down, but it doesn't really matter because we stayed above it. Bounce. Obviously, we tested below, but we retracted. And what matters more is where we print out at, which was here. We printed out here, or we printed above it anyway. So obviously, we're going to keep this as support. So I'm just kind of prefacing this about 68.3, 68,000 to 68.8. So that kind of range, this kind of range here will be support as well. So I just want to point that out. This is also was user support. But this is like, yeah, whatever, cool. We used it once here. I do want to try and get rid of some of these lines. Obviously, these are consistent lines. We did, use this line quite, religiously. I guess I'll keep this one because it's the closest one to the current price we have. I just want to delete some things because it is quite messy. Yeah, I'll delete this for now. Actually, no, I'll keep it. It's not really in the way. There's so much crap. I need to start deleting these, but whatever. We'll just ignore it for now. Pretend the mess isn't there. It's just, if we move on and go and zoom into this little area, it'll almost be like it was never there. So, current price, it's gone up, as you may be able to see on the screen. It has gone up 6.22%. Going from about 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. today, moving towards where it is right now. We're at 72.1. It seems like we did bounce off of this price point here. If I get the horizontal ray, there we go. So it did seem like we used this as a rebound at 72.5. At 72.5, you got 72, 72.5, 73. The midpoint of 1,000. If we do this, it is basically the midpoint of this kind of 1,000 movement. So it does make sense. The midpoint of this area, is going to be difficult to get past because it's kind of a round number. Because 72.3, yeah, it's also a round number, 72.3. But I think a midpoint at 72.5 is more important, in terms of if there was going to be resistance there, than 72.1, let's say 72.2. So 72.5, we did see some resistance here. We have bounced off it, but we are now using. We also have a really nice order block here, which we are using as support. As you can see, equal height candles on opposite directions. We have an order block right where we are right now, which we can see we are using as support. Boom, 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 boom. We are using it as support. We have bounced off it already. So this is a good order block. which is directly below us. So this is good. This is very good in terms of bullish. We've got very close buy support in terms of the fact that we're not really going to fall down below. Interestingly, we're very, very bearish. As you can see, view up negative and coming down. Money flow very high and coming down. Momentum is coming downwards. It's coming from. It's coming from a nearly 60 point. So it's not too high. But obviously, we do have bearish divergence as well. So we've just got all these things piling on to this, bullish indication. And thick red dot indicates to us that it is a local high. So this kind of area is a local high, which does make sense. It's the highest point we've seen pretty much ever. So yeah, it does make sense that it is drawing that. Now if I zoom out here, there we go. Zoom in a bit. Perfect. So we are coming from a momentum point. Seems to be like it's forming a new support zone, but please, yeah, I mean, you're right. That's what I was saying with this order block. This is a good support zone. So, yeah, you are very right. This area, this price area between 71.4 and 71.9, nearly 72. Time frames, I'll go on to the other time frames in a minute. But yeah, as I was saying, we do have this order block area below us, keeping us above. So we are very close to this price point. So in terms of, as I was saying, in terms of bullish or bearish, we do have, even if we were bearish, we do have support keeping us up. So we're not going to fall too crazy down. So as I always like to kind of think about it, obviously Mark Cypher kind of tells us what direction we're going to go in and what sort of trend we're in. And obviously support, resistance, and whatnot. This is the 1 hour time frame. I normally look at the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, you can't really see it on the screen. You can kind of see it in top left, very small. This is the 1 hour. I will go to the 4 hour. I can probably have a quick look. I normally do the 1 hour because I like to do like shorter things to kind of see more in-depth candles than usual. So this is on the 1 hour. Rafael Teflon, remember? Yes, I do remember. How are you? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, as I was saying, so we do have this 60-point momentum coming down. So it's not like over here, for example, where we're at 27 points. So it was a considerable move. And these 60 lines, these are kind of arbitrary numbers, but at the same time, they kind of represent if it was an actual movement, because you can have quick movements like this. Like here, for example, we were kind of crabbing along here in our breaker block. And this kind of momentum was kind of telling us we're not really, we're not in a general movement. So it's not like we're doing, we've kind of got two movements where it's like, you've got a general movement and then you've got this crab area, which is like what we have here. So this momentum, coincides with the fact that we're kind of crabbing. Watching on no time frame, sorry. No, don't worry. I didn't really point out anything. Okay, H1, sorry, I'm under 700 meters deep on the ground. That's an interesting place to be watching a crypto stream, but we'll welcome it anyway. Yeah, though, I mean, I normally look at 1 hour. I don't say it. I do look at the 1 hour. I can quickly look at the higher time frame, just to see a more general thing. But I normally look at the money flow. So, because I think like the hour, for me anyway, obviously this is my opinion, is a good medium between a longer time frame where money flow matters, and a shorter time frame where you can see more. So if you go into the minutes, for example, 15 minutes, let's say, the money flow doesn't matter as much. It's not as accurate in terms of a proper measurement than it is on the higher time frames. But for me, the 1 hour is a good medium between higher time frame and lower time frame. I don't think I'm saying something crazy here, but I like it being. I like looking at one place and being in depth with it. Because if I looked at like 3 time frames on a stream for every coin, we'd be here forever, and I wouldn't want to do that because, we'd be looking at 2 coins and then the stream would be over. But we are on the 1 hour. It works pretty well for me anyway. But as I was saying, the momentum, it is very low down in this kind of representation of like a crab, let's say. So I'm kind of just demonstrating the difference between a lower high or like a low peak on momentum in comparison to a high peak. So as you can see here, high peak, it's a general movement. We kind of at a high up and a high down. Over here, momentum, we came with the 60 line and we're above here. So reaching the 60 mark and kind of being quite a high tall momentum is, it does matter. And as I was saying over here, we do have a high momentum here. So it doesn't mean we're just going to quickly move down a tiny bit. It is, we are coming down. But as I was saying, market cipher doesn't tell us to what specific price point we're going to come down to. It just demonstrates to us which direction we're moving. So we are heavily bearish on this. It doesn't make sense. I mean, considering, I don't know why I just moved then. Considering the fact that, you know, in multiple candles we went up like, oops, I put this. Okay, we went up like 5%. So it was quite. I just joined here. Can you repeat what are the time frames? Yeah. So I look at the 1 hour mainly. I don't really look at, you know, many other time frames. I did look at the 4 hour quite often, and I quickly, you know, sometimes what I used to do was quickly go into the 4 hour, quickly go to the 15-minute, but it got too much because I was doing many coins and many time frames. The streams would just, you know, go on forever and ever, and I wanted to be more in depth, so I just stuck to one time frame. So if you do ask me, I can go on to the higher time frame. So, you know, for example, I will look at the 4 hour for Bitcoin in a minute, but I normally, you know, if it's not asked for, I'll just stick to the 1 hour to keep it. It's more general. It's a medium between being more general, so you can act upon it, you know, over a couple hours and over, you know, some days, and, you know, it actually, like, you know, market cipher does actually matter. So if I was on the 5 minute, none of the things I'm looking at would matter. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Hello, thanks for this excellent live. Thank you for joining us. That's what I mean. I can provide content all day, but what matters more is that people come and join and spend their time watching. So thank you so much for being here. Each and every one of you, thank you so much for spending your time on this live. Another day today. I'm busy, by the way, keeping the check. Yeah, thank you. Well, you know, by that the world would be a bit better. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try. You know, I do say this most of the time. I haven't said it yet, but I do say, you know, if you want to ask for coins covering, I'll be more than happy to cover them. But if you also have questions of how I, you know, look at charts, you know, you might have your own strategy, and that's perfectly fine. My strategy might not work for you. Your strategy might not work for me. But if you have any, you know, questions of how I like to look at charts, just ask anything. And if I see the question and I have enough time, I can go into it, I will answer your question. But also, you know, if you go to the description, we do have a paper airplane kind of, you know, chat area. Wing, quick, nudge, nudge. It begins with T, ends in M. Go join there. You can ask questions there as well. Noted, thanks for the suggestion. I mean, again, like I said, my strategy might not work for you. You don't have to just look at the 1 hour. This isn't like gospel, but for me anyway, you know, the 1 hour, it just works for me. I like it. You know, it's just my preference. I've been doing trading since 2015, but only long time. Yeah, like 1 2 years, 2 years. Yeah, I mean, I like to do futures. Obviously, I mean, like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not. I'm only like 18. I've not been in crypto, you know, my entire life. I've, you know, been doing school and whatnot, but, you know, for me, it's obviously you can go into the daytime frame and look at trades, but when you're doing long-term trades, you know, you need to know, like, you know, economically, it's you don't have to look at a chart and know exactly what's going on. You can look at charts, go on the day and the week, and you can look, and that's perfectly fine, and that works. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But with, you know, long-term trades, it's more of an economical analysis rather than, you know, a chart pattern analysis. But yeah, but, you know, you are, you know, I've been interested in 2015, only long time. Yeah, so you're a veteran in the trading industry. So, you know, thank you so much for joining. But yeah, for me, it's only really futures because I look at like shorter time frames, like 1 hour, like in comparison to like the day and the week, it's 1 hour. You know, I do futures, I do longs and shorts. It's more it's not like I just buy it and watch it over a long period of time. It's like it's more involved. But yeah. So yeah, so back to this. So like I was saying, momentum, it matters. The point I was trying to make was it matters. It's not like it's a you know, an inconsiderable height like it is over here. So this is going to be another thing to add to our bearish list. So as I like to do, and some people say this as well, is I like to do my analysis like a robot. You know, I follow a pattern. You know, I look at actually I should probably show it now. I look at support and resistance. I look at price points. You know, all the blocks. I do that analysis first, and then I go to market cipher. I always look at the same things. I always try and look at the same things no matter what chart I'm looking at. And I always like to make a list in my head. So, you know, money flow coming down is a bearish thing. V up is negative, which is a bearish thing, and is coming down, which is a bearish thing. Momentum coming from 60 and coming downwards is a bearish thing. And we've also got this kind of, you know, bearish divergence here. So every single thing I could have possibly read on market cipher is telling us we should come down. But like I said, we don't have a lot of, you know, room to move downwards. Like, you know, we could break this order block and ignore it and probably come down towards, you know, the 70,000 range. But, you know, we're using this support, you know, actively. It's not like it's a long-term thing which we're going to ignore. we're using this actively as support. So I don't think we're going to break down, break below this too easily. But if there's huge sell pressure, which, and if it comes from, not just people looking at the charts, and it's just a general, like the ETF has so much power right now. Obviously, I know they're buying it, and it's kind of a representational thing, and that's why the price is going up so much. But if there's a lot of sell pressure, we can break below these things. I'm not saying all the blocks are, solid concrete, but it's not like we're going to fall below it really easily. So we should stay above this order block. So in terms of, even though we are bearish, I think we might come towards 71.9, maybe even probably 71.7, and then come back upwards again. But I don't think we're going to come down too crazy. But market cipher, it doesn't move per tick, it moves as a representation. So we can move we can move 1% and market cipher come all the way down into the oversold, or towards the 0 mark, or we could come down 10% and it will only then come towards the neutral mark. So it's not so much of a, oh, we're so high, we're going to fall so much. It's more so of a, it's a representation of how oversold or how overbought we are. So it's not exactly how far we're going to fall. It's more so of how ridiculously oversold or ridiculously overbought we are. So that's kind of what I think for Bitcoin currently. I think we've come towards 71.7 for Bitcoin, but I don't think we're going to go much lower. We do have this 72.5 we kind of have bounced off, but the previous line we have drawn, and which Mike has talked about, is 74.4. I think he might say 74.5 or something like that. Within this range, 74.5-ish. We drew this from, we had some bear pennant, not a bull pennant, sorry, which kind of brought us to this price point. So I think people are kind of generally using this price point. And if everyone thinks the same thing, it will fulfill it. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Everyone thinks a price, will come to a certain position, and it doesn't really have a lot of things stopping it. In terms of, buy data. It's not like everyone thinks it's going to go to $1 million Bitcoin, and therefore it should do. It's more so of a, if it statistically could happen, and everyone thinks it, then it will probably happen. Manifestation power, exactly. If everyone thinks it, everyone has this kind of undermined everyone has this understanding of where it should go to, and they will place their trades according to where they think it will go. And if everyone thinks everyone else is doing the same thing, they will do it. It's kind of a it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I can't really describe it much better. But regardless, 74.4 is kind of the line we drew this ages ago. So I think that will definitely be resistance, and everyone else I think does also think it will be resistance. So regardless of if I don't think this will be the highest point we'll see. It depends, but it will definitely see resistance there. Some people think 80k. I saw that in some of the polls. I think one of the polls we had on our YT channel was 80k or 60k. I don't think we're going anywhere near towards 60k anytime soon. We have so much keeping us up. So yeah, let's just bear that in mind. So I think that's kind of it for Bitcoin. I'll look at the 4-hour as per request. So you see, we are very overbought. But again, we're moving, the representation of money flow. I mean, 4-hour, it's been a while since I've looked at the 4-hour. So you can see the momentum, the representation of momentum really accurately describes the price movement. As you can see, kind of have this jump, then it goes up, this jump goes up. It kind of moves pretty accurately. And regardless, as you can see, I believe these wave trends, I think it's called a market cipher anyway. If you've ever used the MACD or the moving average convergence divergence, it's kind of that, it's kind of like that where it reads based off two EMAs, and when they cross, it's either bullish or bearish. So as you can see, as we get closer to crossing in terms of these lines, we will start to come towards the bull side of the bear side of things. In terms of over here, VWAP is going to be coming down pretty rapidly, and is nearly crossing to the negative side of things. We do have a pretty much neutral money flow, and it's not like it's not like we're doing this for the money flow. It would make sense to say, if we've been coming down a bunch for the money flow and then it becomes neutral, we'd either continue to come downwards, but it would make sense to say we'd kind of come upwards as it's a normal arcing kind of action like this. But you can kind of see we've been coming upwards, and now we're starting to, kind of, it's quite hard to show it. We've been coming upwards for the money flow, and now we're starting to kind of go neutral for the money flow. So we could start to see maybe money flow come downwards, which will be our trend. We'll have a negative trend then. Momentum comes down, the up's coming down. It's looking like 4-hour could start to be bearish as well. But would have to wait for the candle to print and everything to kind of print out before I can make a judgment on that. The next candle's at 1 a.m, so we're not going to see that within the stream. But what I like to do, when we start the stream at 9, by the time it reaches 10, I like to go back to like Bitcoin and stuff, so we can actually see whether my judgments are correct or not, because we start to print out, especially seeing as though we're very close to, actually starting to come down properly. So yeah, I think that's kind of it for Bitcoin. I think we'll just move on to Ethereum. I kind of spoke about all I need to. Ethereum, I can't remember what I spoke about for Ethereum. Okay, well that was ages ago. So yeah, this was kind of the action. So I haven't covered it. Did I stream Wednesday? I think I streamed Wednesday. I think did I stream Wednesday? Oh, here we go. I'm forgetting every time. I don't know if I streamed Wednesday. I might have done. Oh, I didn't look at Mark Cypher actually. Mark Cypher A, for the EMA. Considering if we're bearish or bullish in terms of that regard. Okay, yeah. I mean, we're above the EMA, so it's not like we're going to stay below it. We're going to catch up. The EMA is going to start to catch up. So even if we did break below our order block, by the time things start to print out, it'll probably be in this range here for the EMA. So the EMA will start to come up, candle will start to come down. If we were to go towards below the order block, our EMA will probably catch up with just enough time to catch us to stay above the order block. So that's just more confidence to suggest to us that we're not going to come down too far too soon anyway. But yeah, anyway, go back to Ethereum. So where we are currently, I did draw the 40,000 mark. I can't remember when I drew this. Let's just hide some things quickly because it's a bit messy. So the 4,000 mark, I mean, yeah, I drew this ages ago. It's not like I've drawn something crazy, like, oh my god, guys, 40,000, everyone thinks it's not going to be 40,000, but I think it 40,000, 50,000, I always do this. Whenever I come from Bitcoin to Ethereum, I always say like 40,000. I always add an extra zero because it's just the natural thing. But coming from 4,000, 4,000, 3,000, 4,500, 5,000, these general big round numbers, these are going to be support and resistance points. So, I'm not saying something crazy here. But I did draw the 4,000 mark. So coming from Wednesday, we did use this as support, which is good. I did actually make a comment on this where I basically said, same thing for Solana as well. We had this quick movement below, and I basically said it was almost like we teleported from this high point to the midpoint over here, because it was just this quick movement downwards and quick movement back upwards. So it was kind of this ignored movement. So as I was mentioning on the stream, it's not like our breaker block or all the blocks, they're not going to be invalidated because of how fast and how artificial the movement was. So we still have this breaker block, although we are ages away from it, so it doesn't matter. But we were slowly trucking upwards. It did seem like we had this kind of line here of support. I'll draw it here because we kind of had it there as well. So we kind of had this 37.46, 37.50 line as support. Obviously, using the midpoint of these lines, I do occasionally like to look at these to kind of see. So the midpoint of this area, I'm gonna quickly draw that just to see how close it was. So the midpoint, yeah, I'm starting to look at these more and more now, looking at the midpoint of a range. So we can clearly see we're in this range here. We've tested the bottom and we've tested the high of it, and then we came down. And now we're using the midpoint as support and resistance. So I do like to always point out midpoints of ranges. So I'll keep that there, I suppose. But in terms of where we are right now, so it doesn't really matter what's going on. That's where we are. And where we are right now, it does seem like we have this slight, resistance point. Let me just try and get like a box or something like that. Roughly here. So 40 and a half, 40,000. Let me just drink some water. $4,500. No, 4,050. I always do this. I always word it wrong with Ethereum when I come from Bitcoin. But 4,500. No, 4,050. I can't help myself. 4,050 is where it seems like we our highest point was 4,086, but in terms of where we printed we printed at, and we came below 4,050, and now we're at the midpoint of this kind of area. I'm trying to look for anything else in terms of maybe a support. We do kind of see something here. kind of, here is a wick and then printing here. So we do have this range here for Ethereum. So I'm going to delete this. We're kind of in this kind of range, as we can see. If I get the pen out, we've kind of been bouncing in between. So it's not like we've just quickly gone like gone upwards, gone downwards, and then we've broken it. We have actually, twice now. Once here and here had 2 points where we've gone to the top point and the bottom point of this range. So we have safely in a range for Ethereum. I always need to bear in mind what I said for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's gonna come down a tiny bit before we go up. So that coincides with what I'm saying. So from what I said with Bitcoin, where I think we're gonna come down to a lower, slightly lower point, and then come upwards again. If we go back to it to kind of remember what I'm talking about. I think we're going to come down to, maybe this midpoint, only like a 0.63% move downwards. So, bear that in mind. So I always like to remember what I said for Bitcoin in my analysis before we go into what I said for other coins. Because what Bitcoin does kind of play a bit of, a weighting on what other coins do. This is ETH, yeah, this is ETH now. So as I was saying, if I think Bitcoin's going to come down, 0.65, where we can come down for, if we were to come 0.65, which we're not going to do. It's not like we're going to move percentage by percentage play. It's going to be like it's just going to be a general movement. So in terms of how much Bitcoin we had to move downwards, we do have some movement to move down for Ethereum. So I still think we might have kind of like this. We've already got this move downwards, and then we're going to come upwards again. So I think we're on our way down to the 4,018 to then come back upwards to 4,060. So this is what I kind of think for Ethereum, based on the fact of what Bitcoin's doing. Now, if we quickly look at market cipher, we've got a very, very, very similar story to what Bitcoin had, where we had a very high momentum, which is coming downwards. We've got a money flow, which is decently high and is coming downwards. VWAP is negative and coming downwards. So and we have bearish divergence. So like we had for Bitcoin, every single thing is pointing downwards in terms of market cipher. So I think we'll move down to 4,018 and then probably move back upwards in this range. But if Bitcoin blows, we'll probably come down to this point and then break above this. But the two times we've wicked above this price point, we've come all the way back down, staying below this. But to bear in mind, we could have a slow ascent upwards for Ethereum. So we had if I remove this range quickly, we had ourselves print below here, then we printed below here. What's to say we don't print it below 4,060? But obviously that doesn't matter. So this is what I kind of think for Ethereum. I don't see ourselves breaking below. Even if we did, 4,000 is going to be the biggest point of support we've ever had. So I don't really think there's much moving down. I think in general I don't think there's much moving downwards. But again, we do have simple significance isn't actually too far away. So we do have 4,010, 4,012 as support as well, which is nice. But our price movement has been so rapid upwards. Simple significance isn't going to catch up too fast. And if you're sitting there, in your house, on the boat, in a spaceship, you could be anywhere right now. You could be an alien watching this. You're watching in your little UFO pod, and you're wondering, what is simple significance? What is he talking about? What is this crazy awesome looking indicator? Well, this is actually our indicator as Crypto Warehouse. This is a automatic support and resistance drawing point, which gives you the prices, and it gives you this 2% padding, which I do talk about quite often. As a considerable thing to pay attention to. So if I try and show you an example, you've obviously got the dotted line, which is the exact price of where the support or resistance point is. But then you have this 2% padding where you've got this occasional wick into it where it bounces back. For example, here you've wicked directly on top of it and bounced all the way back down. Wicked to the bottom of it and stayed above it. This 2% padding. And we always talk about this, front running, support and resistance points. You don't want to have let's say you're doing a futures and you have a take profit or a stop loss. You don't want to do your take profit or stop loss directly on the support or resistance point. Precisely. You want to have a bit of a percentage padding. So this is why we've added this 2% padding for the price. Obviously, you don't have to do a 2% padding. You can do a judgment based on what you want. But it does. Obviously, I'm trying to find a good example on Ethereum. I'll probably show it throughout the stream. But it does more often than not have a decent amount of accuracy to it when we have this range. So price resistance points, they're not always exact. You have to have a bit of a range. That's why I draw rectangles for ranges and whatnot, and this is why you have order blocks, because it is a range of price where you can enter into before you either come down or come upwards. But yeah, regardless, so that's some significance. We can't really use it too much because of the fact that we're quite high above. We can say, oh, it's a support point. We've got 39.93, which is basically 40,000, 4,000. We've basically got 4,000 support, which we do. So it doesn't really matter right now because of how fast I'm moving upwards. It's going to take time to catch up to us. We also could have a midpoint in terms of if you ever look at fair value gaps. But at the same time, we do have it's not like it's gone red, green, 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 then red. It's gone green, 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 green. So it's not it's a 3 candle pattern. But if we were to pay attention to it, it would be this midpoint here, about 39, 35. But again, we've got so much support keeping us up that it doesn't actually matter. So yeah, in terms of looking at the EMA now, it's coming towards our 4,000 mark, which will be support. So our EMA is basically there because it's nice to have EMA at the support or resistance points. To kind of back up your claim. Even if you didn't have support or not, you would still have your EMA. Saying okay, cool. So EMA, we're yet to touch it again. We could go boom and then come down and test it and then come upwards again. EMA is quite strong. EMA, it's your best friend. 4,500 possible. Let's have a look. So let's draw a line there. 4,500. Hold on. Is it possible? I do think it is very possible. As long as Bitcoin does what I think everyone else thinks it's going to do, I think Ethereum will follow suit and we will come up to 4,500. But in terms of if it's possible, we do have this resistance point we are right now. Obviously, we're gonna have a steady trek upwards. I don't think it's impossible to say 4,500. I definitely don't. But we're gonna have to have a decent trek upwards for the price. So it's gonna be, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. But I do think it's definitely possible to have 4,500 for Ethereum. So yeah, I do think so. It's not gonna be in the next couple of days, but it'll be over a longer period of time, for sure. So Solana, I can't remember what I said. Kel surprise or whatever you want to say. There's no surprise that I can't remember what I said. Okay, so what do we have? I don't know why I have this. Why do I have this drawn? Oh, I drew it over here. Yeah, so this worked. Okay, this was a good long. 10%. This was a good long. Yeah. I don't know when I drew this. I must have drew this. I think I drew this at the time, so it must have been Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. So Wednesday, 6th of March, I said we should have a long for Solana. Lo and behold, we have a long for Solana, so that wasn't too crazy. I had our support. I had our take profit at this high point here. I don't know why I had it here. It must have been. I think it must have been resistance point, which it had done. But in terms of stop loss, basically on the order block here. So yeah, it was pretty good long. But I don't really care about that because it's been and gone. What's nice though, some significance, we are actually below resistance points, which is nice. So we can actually use this and pay attention to it. So as I said, it is pretty strong. We do have this strong resistance point at 150. Oh, boom! Surprise, 150 dollars as resistance. Who would have thought it? Obviously, I kind of I sometimes pay attention to these, but this is high level. This is basically saying this is the highest we've basically seen in a while. So they're very close by. I would kind of pay attention to them, but we've got 150 as resistance, so that's going to be quite strong. Anyway, we are at our EMA, and we're slowly moving upwards, so this is good. We're not going to rock down anytime soon, but it does already seem like, as we had for Ethereum and Bitcoin, where we had, our momentum start to come downwards, money flow starting to come downwards, VWAP starting to come downwards. It kind of already looks like Solana's already kind of. I've said the same thing. It's like race car and race car backwards. Like I've just said the same thing, but it's looking like we've already had that. So as you can see, our momentum has come down over numerous of hours, and is very close to the 0 mark, which is good. So we're becoming less overbought. Money flow's already been coming down and in negative, but it's neutralizing. VWAP has already been in negative for a while now. Already been going down for a while now. but is also, slighting a neutral position right now. And as we are in a neutral position, we've been going down for quite a while. So, going down, neutral position, possibly having a movement upwards. Obviously, you can get tricked out. But like I said, we're at a neutral position for the money flow and VWAP, which is good. Which could mean we could start to come upwards again and see some bull movement. But as Ethereum and Bitcoin start to come downwards, as I think they should be, we'd probably see the bottom towards the EMA. I think we'd stay above the EMA. I don't really think we're gonna stay too far below. But likewise, we've been staying above this line. Obviously I can draw it here. Obviously we had a shock horror move downwards for this candle here. But we've been staying above this $146.7 mark for a couple of hours now. So I wouldn't think we're going to go any. We're probably, even if we did go below, maybe if we, dare I say $146 for Solana, I think we'd come back towards this line. So even though we're not really bearish or bullish for Solana in terms of market cipher, we don't have a lot to move downwards. So even if we had this, horrifyingly bad money flow and everything, we would only really move down, about 40.4%. But in terms of moving upwards, we do have, in terms of the bottom of this range, we do have about a 2.3% movement upwards for Solana to get to about 150. But bearing in mind, like here, for example, we did reach the $150 mark, but we printed below the 2% mark, as I have here. As you can see, we were printing below it pretty consistently. So do bear that in mind. So in terms of our moving upwards, we would only really have, a 1.2% move upwards if we were to go from where we are right now. But we don't really have a lot in market cipher to tell us we should be going upwards right now. So in terms of Solana, I don't think we're going to go down too far. Even if we did go down, I don't think we're really going to go down for Solana. I think whatever happens, even if we do start to come downwards for Bitcoin and Ethereum, even if we did move down for Solana to kind of follow that sort of movement, we'd only really see $146.7. So we're not going to go crazy down. We're not going to crash. But I think for the majority of coins, for all three coins I've looked at today, which is the main coins, we're all in a similar position where we've got support here. Prices here, we've got support really close down, and we're just going to slowly kind of move downwards before we bounce upwards. So I think that's the general movement for the day, I suppose. It does also seem like we kind of have a nearly like an order block kind of going on here. So if we can stay above this, maybe if I point it to this point here, if we can stay above this, obviously then we'd start to use 147.3 as support as well, which would be nice as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Solana. I don't really have much more to say. I don't really see, and this is, I want to do a trade today as well, because last stream I looked for trade. We had like 12 coins. I looked for like one trade. I couldn't find a good one. And whenever I want to trade, I want to look for a really good trade. Like I can go to my history on the platform over here. I can show you that. Obviously, you're never going to win 100% of the time. But like it's majoritively green more so than anything else. You might not be able to see that on the screen, but obviously we do have more green than we have red when I try to trade anyway, because I want to be 100% sure whenever I'm trading that what I'm entering into is going to be a proper trade. Obviously, you can have fluke situations. As we saw with the price. Here for example, this was just like it took 3 hours and our price moved down like 20% and then moved all the way back up. So you can have these movements, especially in a market like this right now when we're discovering prices higher and higher. Oh, I've just moved this down. Oh my god. Hold on. Let me try and move this back upwards. There we go. So you can have these big movements upwards and downwards. It will just happen and it will screw you over. So for example, my latest loss was one of my biggest losses for WIF, because it just surged all the way below really quickly and stopped me out. So it was an unfortunate situation, but the majority of my trades, I like to be profitable, because who doesn't like to be profitable? And when I trade, I try to find the best trade I can, and trying to stack my odds in my favor. I want to find the best movement. I want to be in a trade, before the movement begins. I want to follow out a trend, but I want to find a trade. But like I said, we're not really showing crazy movements here and there. It's kind of just, you know, slight movements. Like for the main coins, we're kind of just moving like 0.6%, 0.4%, 0.5%. So yeah, it's not really much a trade to find there. But I like to trade the altcoins anyway, or not the altcoins, but like, yeah, the altcoins I suppose actually. Yeah, you know, my Pipe is, you know, one of my favorite ones, because when I've compared it, and I've done it on stream, the price action of Pipe follows Bitcoin really, really accurately. Like, it really follows it. Obviously, there'll be occasional times where it doesn't, but it will more often than not follow how Bitcoin moves to a T. But obviously, since it's a, you know, lower cap coin and it can move more in terms of its price, it will move higher percentages, so it will give you a better reward. So I do like to trade Pipe, and I've been pretty good with Pipe in terms of my profits, because it follows Bitcoin so well. Because I'll just go do analysis on Bitcoin, see how that's going to move, and then I'll go quickly do it on Pipe and then trade on Pipe, and it will just, you know, it'll just work. It's worked more often than not for me. But, you know, to not blabber on about, you know, my thing. Obviously, it's my methodology. You don't have to follow it. It's not like a set in stone thing. It's not like a binary solution. It's just something I've found through trading it. It's something I've found with you know, Pipe, for example. But yeah. So in terms of the stream, in terms of analyzing coins, you know, the main coins I look at are the top three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. So, you know, I've already been through all of them. So if you do have any coins for me to cover, I will cover them. But we've been like 57 minutes. You know, a pretty long stream considering we've only done 3 coins. Obviously, I have been, you know, talking about a bunch of things. Oh, perfect. What do you think about XRP? I will go look. So like I said, so normally we'll have like, you know, a suggestion or 2 or 3 of coins. You can do more than that. You know, if anyone wants to suggest coins, put them in the chat. I'll have a quick look. But I do like to put, you know, quite a bit of emphasis on like those coins and then look at them. But yeah, in terms of looking at XRP, we do kind of have this area here, which is pretty good in terms of where we could enter into and stay above. We are okay. Wow. Okay. So really, really, really heavily overbought. You know, I'm not saying anything crazy. You know, I'm not saying anything crazy here. Gone up 20% for XRP. So I'm not saying anything crazy here, don't think anyway. And Market Cypher is replicating that. We had bearish divergence not too long ago. Heavily bearish in terms of our momentum. You know, we're way too high right now, way too overbought. And we had a red dot in terms of to show we're crossing. VWAP is negative and going downwards. Money flow is going upwards, interestingly. But, you know, going downwards, I wouldn't be too surprised. And our momentum is pretty negative. And, you know, as you can see, these kind of lines, they're separating. So it's getting worse and worse. So we should definitely have a move downwards or movement downwards. We've already started to have movement downwards for XRP, but I think we should have a continuation, maybe towards the midpoint, maybe 2.5%. I don't know, you know, how long that's going to take. Obviously, this is a fair value gap. Fair value gaps are not set in stone, so we could move below it. In terms of simple significance, we do have 60.6681 as support, aka all the way down here. So we do have that support point confirmed anyway. I would have quite a lot of confidence in that for a support point for XRP. I'm trying to think the amount negative we have for Market Cypher. Would we move past this fair value gap and go towards the support point? I'm not too sure, but it does look like a very good fair value gap. Because if I try and, you know, pay attention to what the kind of what it's been doing, we do have, you know, we had our movement downwards in our general trend, but then we had a structural shift, aka we had our high point go past our low point here. So we basically crossed above the low point because, you know, we were in this kind of range here. If I can see the range downwards, we can kind of see what was going on, and then, you know, we crossed the range here, and then so this is our structural shift, where instead of us being in a downtrend, we're now in an uptrend. So that, and you normally want to see a structure shift before a fair value gap, and we did. So this could be a good fair value gap. We could actually pay attention to this. We could stay above. 70 cents, 70.6 cents for sure if you were to use this as a fair value gap. But it would only really give us, I'll try and get a measurement here. There we go. It would only give us 2.5% profit. Obviously 10x short on XRP. If you wanted to take this, it could be a 25% profit, which is decent. I don't know. I'm trying to. The only argument I'm trying to put in my head right now is, would we see? Let me actually get this more accurate. It's hard. It's hard. I can't actually see. There we go. So yeah, 70.5% actually. It is, which from where we are right now, would give us 24%. So again, like I said, could be a good trade. The current wager I have in my head is if we're going to see support point. But we've just printed it out now at 10 o'clock. Money flow is coming downwards. VOP's coming downwards. This could be a good short for Ripple. So if you want to take 24%, this could be a good short. So forever who said XRP, let me find our user who just actually asked about Fetcoin. If you hold XRP, then I think it's going to come downwards. But if you want to take a futures trade on it, I think it'll come downwards. Obviously, it depends on what multiplication you do, how confident you are. But about a 25% move down could be pretty decent. If you are obviously, or 2.5%, if you were to do 10x, 25%, which is good money, I suppose. So yeah. Anyway, so Fetcoin. Let's have a look. So good now, pretty well now. We're not quite at the 60 mark in terms of our momentum, but we have crossed into the green, I suppose. So we are starting to come upwards in terms of our suggestion buy momentum. Money flow is also coming upwards. It is very negative, but it's coming upwards. VOP is positive and coming upwards. So a lot of things pointing upwards for our market cipher. Trying to see if there's like a considerable price point. Do kind of have this here. There we go. So we should come upwards, in theory anyway, for fetch. Obviously, it depends if it follows, normal market, like normal market movement, how Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana are supposed to move. If it does follow that, obviously we should come down a tiny bit. We're not too, close to the 60 mark in terms of our momentum, so it's not like we're not at the 20 mark for our momentum, so it's not like a really insignificant amount in terms of our trend. But we're not quite above there where it's going to completely swap our trend. But we should come upwards. That's kind of the main thing I'm trying to get. I think we should come upwards. We do have quite a lot of action upwards in terms of what it's trying to tell us right now. I'm just trying to see if there's like anything considerable. Obviously, I'm going to hide this. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go to the midpoint though of this kind of range here, which is about $2.78, which would give us how much movement upwards? About another 2.45% move upwards. Trying just flow in your analysis is quite stammering. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do things a lot, as I'm going. I do things in my head. I'm looking at things. I'm thinking about things as I'm talking about it, and I'm trying to think about it in a way which is simple. So if I stammer, then it is what it is. But as I said, so 2.45% movement upwards for fetch, I could see. Wouldn't be surprised. Again, we could use this kind of lower point for this rectangle as our resistance. So as you can see, we kind of used it here as we bounced off it. We have come upwards towards above this line and wicked upwards. So if you want to take that gamble to have a wick upwards, you could very well do. But I think the midpoint is normally where you see this kind of thing. But interestingly, I don't know. It's kind of like indecisive, as it's gone downwards and come below, and it's come upwards and then it's come downwards again. So it's kind of really bad. So I might actually ignore this. So ignore what I just said. Instead, what I'm going to do is try and find a consistent support point or resistance point, to try and see if there's anything anywhere, like maybe over here, like there. Maybe it's kind of there, but again, we do go past it. There's not really a significant, like within this mess of movement, we've not really got a consistent price. Like it's kind of here, kind of maybe 3 candles worth of, maybe 4 of staying below that price point. But again, then we go upwards, and then we go downwards, and we don't use it as like a support instead of resistance. So we don't actually have a consistent price point. So, but for all I know, we are using this as support, which is, good, and we are coming upwards towards our resistance. So it could be a situation where we've come downwards, gone upwards to our resistance, come downwards to our support, and are now coming upwards to our resistance. So this is what. Whoops. I guess I'll do that maybe. So this is what I could see. Seeing as though we are coming upwards quite heavily, and our money flow is quite rapidly coming upwards. This would give us, if you were to go to the 2% padding, would give you a 7.37% move for FET. There will be a midpoint, which I think is probably here, which we will probably see a bit of resistance at. But I think in general we probably could move upwards towards the $2.95 mark for fetch. So, and trying to measure how long this took. There we go. And if we duplicate it, obviously this is just guesswork. This isn't exact. But this could give us, how long would that take? So this would give us towards Tuesday, 12th March at 7 a.m. So this would give us tomorrow morning to be up 7% for fetch. But again, like I said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, things are slightly, they're not coming down too crazy, but they're going to come down a tiny bit more. So we could see hovering at our support point here before we move upwards. But I think within tomorrow, we could maybe see our move upwards again. Especially seeing as though once we hit the bottom point of Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, like I said previously in the stream, and then we should start to see moving upwards. Same thing with fetch in this case, where we would have a hoverage below or staying below at support point, and then as everything goes upwards, we would move upwards as well. So this could be a good trade actually. I could probably long this. I do want to actually have a trade, but this would be one of those trades where you long it and then you go to bed because it might hover a bit. But in terms of, so if I were to put a long in, let's say here where we are right now, and then put it at the padding, because it's just safer for me anyway. So I kind of want like a 3 risk reward, which would give us maybe the height of this support point. If I'm trying to look back here, trying to see if so there might be something considerable here, which actually brings us to this point here, which is actually a bit below the previous point where we wicked down to, which would give us a 2.66 risk reward, which is pretty decent. But you could always get stopped out. But this could be a pretty good trade. So if you were to do a 10x, it'd be 72% profit. My confidence in this, I'm pretty confident. But you always have to bear in mind what's going on externally, not externally, but what's going on with other coins in the market, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think we might hover down a bit, which I think would maybe bring us back towards the support point. So what I might do is maybe put a limit order in at about 2.6893, and then bring us upwards towards, let's say here, for example. Let me expand this because it's very small. And then put it to the 2% mark here, and then bring it to about, okay, so that could be pretty good. That's really far down. But I think, seeing as though we have our movement downwards for Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever, maybe put a limit order in towards 2.6891, and then have it come upwards and take profit at 29142. So if we quickly go in Bitcoin, I can, I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I'm wondering to see if we're coming downwards. So we have printed. Obviously we're on the upper end, but we've already started to come downwards. As you can see, I think we're up here, but as you can see, we're starting to already come downwards in terms of where our highest wick point was to where we are now. Things are still coming downwards, so I think we're still going to move downwards a bit for Bitcoin. Ethereum though, I always like to look at the price after we've printed again in terms of the 10 o'clock. So again here, we're kind of still a bit hovering a bit. We're not completely wicking down. Things are still completely negative. We are starting to come downwards for the coins. I've already covered Ethereum and Bitcoin. So if I quickly also look at Solana, we are also coming downwards. We actually bounced off the midpoint, like I said for Solana. But again, similar to as I was saying, we've already had our movement. We've already had our negative movement. Money flow is starting to come upwards. VOP is coming upwards. Momentum is starting to arc around. So I think for Solana, I definitely think we should start to move upwards pretty soon. So quickly go back to FET. I I want to say, whoops, I want to say we could come down, but I might just, again, like I said, I might just put my long in and see how it goes. So if I come to where we are now, I want to get a decent risk reward. So it's like 2.5 is decent, which brings us to the support point. So I might just put the long in and leave it and sleep on it, because this is on the 1 hour. This isn't like a quick scalp. So if we quickly go to FET and put a long in, it might come. Like I said, to preface, it might come down before it goes upwards, but I can't be bothered to wait for it. I want to put it on the stream anyway, so I'm just going to put it in. And again, like I said, I don't have full confidence it's going to come down to 2.69. I don't know where exactly it's going to come down to. I don't think it's going to go up exactly immediately. But regarding of what's going on with everything else, we should still kind of go upwards. So basically, I guess the gamble is how low we're going to go before we go upwards for the coin. Before everything else goes upwards and whatnot. So I'm going to put a trade in. I don't know how much. I guess I'll do like. How much profit is it going to be? About 72%. I might do like a 10x. Depends on where the stop loss will be from a 10x. But it's going to be at 7.28. So I might do like a 10x. Always do isolated, because otherwise you could get screwed over. Might do like a how much? Okay, what price is it at? Because obviously it's going to come down, it's going to come down, whatever. Put long in. And then we're going to put in our stop loss and whatnot. Which is here. There we go. So so we've been okay. So we've streamed a good amount now. I normally kind of give it, about an hour and something for the stream. Not maybe like an hour and 20. But an hour and 12 minutes is an hour and 13 is a pretty good stream. So we've actually really covered like 5 coins, which is what I normally try to do anyway. So we've covered a decent amount of coins. We're pretty. Where's the copy? Is this going to give us the price point? So that was okay. I think that was didn't perfect. There we go. But yeah, so we've covered an all right amount of coins. I think there's definitely a good trade somewhere within the stream. I do think majority of things will come upwards, but have that slight move downwards. In general anyway. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the stream. Unless anyone has a final coin they want me to look at quickly, then I'll be more than happy to look at it. I just want to get this price. Come on, man. Okay, 2.9142. There we go. So this is going to hover. Within this area, it's going to hover, it's going to do its thing, whatever. It's going to wick, is what it is. Let's just wait for it. So I guess we'll just leave that then to go. But yeah, so if anyone else has a last minute coin or anything I want to cover on the stream quickly. But it is now 40 minutes. We've been live. Obviously, I think I started stream like a couple minutes after, not too long after I did the intro, or after the kind of the music and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for the stream. Unless anyone has any coins, I don't think so. I mean, I'm seeing there's a lot of like spam crap. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't really think anyone's gonna put any other coins. So I think with that being said, go to the description. Check it. There is a good link down there. Begins with T, ends in M. You can come talk to me. Come talk to Mike. Ask me questions. I'll screenshot, the trades. For example, I can screenshot the prices of this trade if you wanted to take this. Obviously, that is your judgment. If you wanted me to screenshot any charts I've already drawn, just see what I said. If you wanted for as a keeping to see, compare your charts and my charts, whatever you want to do, then you can come and ask me that. Obviously, if you wanted these indicators, the indicators I use on stream, you can come ask me on Telegram. I can give you them. If you want to use them to trade, but I'm not going to teach you how to use them. You have to find that out for yourself. But the best I'll do is give you them. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. If you do, actually, another thing I'll ask: if any of you have ever taken a trade based on, what I've done. I think I did a pipe trade actually. I think Zodakan did a trade. I think Zodakan and did a trade. I think we did a pipe trade. I think we got like 80% profit. So it was a pretty good trade. So if any of you have any trades like that, where you either have suggested a long or a short, and you've taken it of your judgment, by the way, not financial advice, and it's gone positively, then come and post it in the area. It doesn't show how much you won. It doesn't matter the amount of money. It matters the percentage. I don't care about if you earn a ton of money or no money. It doesn't matter to me. If you've got a good trade, or it could be a bad trade, you can come grill me in the area and tell me how much you hate me because there was a trade you took based on your judgment. So let me make sure my audio is good. There we go. Perfect. But yeah, if you've got any trades you've already taken within the channel or anything like that, then come post it. I would love to see if there's a screenshot of you taking a trade, which I've given on the stream. That would mean a lot. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave this trade now. I'll probably post the result in Telegram. I haven't really done that too often, so I will post the result of this. I think it could be a pretty good trade upwards, especially with how the market's going anyway. Even if we don't go up straight away, I think we do have some movement upwards to go for this. So I think that's pretty much it. I guess I'll leave it on the Bitcoin chart. Actually, let's have a quick look. We can watch the price go. Okay, yeah. So we're still coming downwards. We'll take our time there with Bitcoin. So thank you so much, all of you, for watching. If you said anything, if you commented or not, thank you so much for streaming. And for the Arrow, I think it's called Arrow. What's his name? Or her name? It's quite. There's a guy spamming, which is whatever, fine. So to that guy, I think the first part of the name was Arrow. So thank you so much for suggesting the coins. Thank you for letting me look at it. Because obviously I cover the top 3 coins, but after them, I do want to cover other coins. But if I just don't get any, then I can't cover anything. So thank you for suggesting the coins. And hopefully, hopefully the tier was good. Hopefully, if you do tier yourself, then hopefully whatever I said, lines up with whatever you said. And it's given you all the confidence you ever needed to make good trades. So all I can wish upon you all is that you get some positive trades in the future. I'm gonna imbue you with my trading power. That's all I can do. That's the most I can do. So thank you so much all for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday. We'll definitely see you on Wednesday. I'm not gonna see you on Friday. I think I'm doing some sort of stream on Friday with other people. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's good. I'll probably stream it on these other platforms. So you can watch me on those. But it won't be a training stream, like I said. I think it'll be more of a discussional stream. So just come join us there. That'll be a bit of fun. And Saturday I'm streaming as well. Mike streams every day pretty much, apart from Sundays. So if you want to catch Mike in the mornings, he'll be on the stream in the mornings. And that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of what more to say, but hour and 20 minutes into the stream. We've had a good stream. It's been pretty good. And yeah, so thank you so much, all of you, for joining, and the names as well. It's always nice to see people's names. Obviously, you've got spammers, but it's always nice to see people actually have good comments. It's an actual formulated sentence or suggestion, and I can get to actually see new or old people talk. So it's very nice to see that. So thank you so much, Kishan. I don't know if you're still here as well. Thank you for joining. My heart still has that place for you. So thank you so much, and I'll see you all Wednesday. Goodbye.
Come on, BTC. on, Fitzy.